Hello guys, it's Jared here, and I'm going to do a review of the movie Unbreakable. Yeah, so this is from the year 2000. This is from the year I was born, so this movie is literally as old as I am, and it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and of course you can see it stars Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. And basically in this movie you have David Dunn, played by Bruce Willis, who is on a train which has a massive, crash, and he's the only survivor of the train crash, but weirdly, he hasn't got a single scratch on him, he's come out completely fine. And, when they come to think of it, they can't remember, the last time that David was sick or anything like that, and, you also have Samuel L. Jackson as Elijah Price, and he's kind of like the opposite of David Dunn, where his bones break really easily like glass, which is why they call him Mr. Glass. And basically he believes that superheroes in like comics are based off people like him and David, and he tries to basically convince David that he has superpowers, and that he's unbreakable, like the title says. So you could say this is kind of a superhero movie, but it's really not an action-y type superhero movie. So I mean, if you go in expecting it to be like action, you'll be disappointed. I mean, there's some like action, I guess, towards the end of the film when David accepts the fact that he's kind of a superhero, but it's really not like an action-oriented film. So I think if you go in expecting like more action, you'll be a bit disappointed. But if you know what the film's like, I think you'll probably enjoy this, because this is a very entertaining film. And yeah, I mean, I think it's done very well. How you really have no idea at first if Elijah Price is crazy, or if he's right, that David has superpowers, and he really does take comics seriously, because he has like a shop selling like old comic book pictures, and somebody who visited the shop wanted to buy it for his 2-year-old son, and Elijah really snapped at him because of that, because that person didn't really take comics seriously. And I found it quite funny how he said, do you see any Teletubbies here? Like that's what you see at a toy store, So you also have David's wife, Audrey, who's played by Wright, and he has a son as well called Joseph, and I think Joseph kind of believes Elijah Price more than his parents do. And there's a really great scene where he's pointing a gun at his dad, and says he's going to shoot him, to prove him that he is unbreakable. And it's a really great scene how his parents are trying to tell him not to do that. And you also have flashbacks to Elijah's childhood, and even though he's kind of like the villain, he's very sympathetic. It's really not like a black and white thing. It's not like you have a completely pure evil villain or anything. You do feel sorry for him and stuff. And what's kind of interesting is like I think they stated in the movie that Elijah was born in 1961, which is interesting because in real life Samuel L. Jackson was actually born in 1948. So his character is meant to be a lot younger than he actually is, but I think it kind of works, because I think Samuel L. Jackson always kind of looked a lot younger than he actually was, and I think to this day a lot of people still don't realise quite how old he is, because I mean, still to this day he's in like every movie ever. And you also have Charlayne Woodard as Elijah's mother, and I think she was also in a few episodes of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She was one of the other aunts in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and yeah. So I should mention this started a sort of trilogy. And this is kind of a spoiler for the movie Split. So like the twist at the end of Split is that it's set in the same universe as Unbreakable, which that's kind of the twist of the movie. But I think the existence of the movie Glass already kind of spoils that twist. So yeah, I think Split is mostly kind of a standalone film, whereas Glass is kind of a crossover between Unbreakable and Split. Because yeah, I'd say this is mostly a standalone film, but Bruce Willis has a cameo at the end as his character from Unbreakable. So yeah, but this one has a lot more of Bruce Willis in it, and you have Samuel L. Jackson as Mr. Glass. So I will be reviewing the other two movies in the Unbreakable trilogy soon. But yeah, I like all three films in the trilogy. I'll say that right now. But this is my favourite in the trilogy, and I like to say spoilers for the twist in this movie, because I already spoiled that twist. So I assume you probably have seen the movies. But you have the twist that when David Dunn finally accepts himself as a superhero, he becomes a superhero named the Green Guard, and but he finds out that Elijah was the one who caused the train accident, and he's done many other big disasters like that, trying to find someone like David, so that he could be his enemy. Which at that point you really even though Elijah is definitely a very sympathetic villain, at the same time at that moment you realise, wow, Elijah really is evil, and you do understand why he became so evil, but you still think like, wow, he really has become evil. And I should mention as well as being unbreakable, one of David's powers is that like when he bumps into people, he can see if they're a criminal, basically. And there's one part where because M. Night Shyamalan, the director, always had a cameo in these movies, and in this one he has a cameo as a drug dealer, which I find is pretty funny that the director would put himself in that role, And like it says here, it's by M. Night Shyamalan, the creator of The Sixth Sense, which of course that Bruce Willis and M. Night Shyamalan worked together before on that film, and of course they'd later work together again in Glass, and of course it's with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, and they also worked together in Pulp Fiction and also in Die Hard with a Vengeance, and of course they'd also work together again in Glass, which is pretty interesting. So yeah. And another thing I like is there's one point where David remembers that there was a time when he was a kid when he almost drowned in a pool. So they think at first that that's proof that he's not unbreakable, and he is a normal human being. But Elijah figures it out because every superhero has a weakness, their kryptonite, and water is kind of his kryptonite. He reacts to water the same way as Elijah does, and and I think that it's very good how he has a weakness as well. So like I said before, I think if you think this is going to be more of an action film, you'll be disappointed. But yeah, on the back it describes it as a supernatural thriller. So if you know that that's what it is going in, then I think you'll enjoy this. So yeah, thanks for watching my review of Unbreakable, and stay tuned for my reviews of the other two movies in this trilogy, which are Split and Glass. So yeah, thanks for watching, bye.